Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel, Signing with Omar. Today's video is going to focus on weather signs. Are you ready? Let's get started. So let's start with the very basic signs such as hot, cold, warm, and humid. Now for the sign hot, simply take your dominant hand, make like a claw, bring that towards the mouth, and then with one simple action, you'll bring that away from your mouth and turn the hand outwards. That is how you sign hot. Now for the sign cold, you have to incorporate also your face with this. As if you're cold, you'll take both hands, make fists out of them, and with your hands showing that you're cold, you'll bring these fists somewhat closer together. That is how you sign cold. You can also use that sign for winter. Now for the sign warm. Simply take that dominant hand, make that claw again, but this time put the fingers right up underneath the chin, and then with the simple action, bring it up forward and begin to open up those fingers out slightly. That is how you sign warm. Now for the sign humid. Simply take both hands, the middle finger and the thumb are going to touch together as if something is sticky. That is how you sign humid. Now for seasonal signs such as winter, summer, spring, and fall. I've showed you how to sign winter or cold, but for the sign summer, simply take your dominant hand, extend that index finger, put it right in front of the forehead, and move it from left to right. That is if your dominant hand is your right hand. But while it's going towards the right, the index finger begin to form a hook. That is how you sign summer. Now for the sign spring, take your non-dominant hand, make a C, but turn it on its side. With your dominant hand, it will go up underneath, in, and through twice. Here's from the side. That is how you sign spring. Now for the sign fall, simply take your non-dominant hand, bring that out in front of the body. With your dominant hand, it goes in front of the non-dominant hand, but I make fours, and with that four, it strikes the edges or the very surface of the elbow twice. That is how you sign fall. Now for signs moon, stars, and the sun. Let's start with the sign moon. Simply take your dominant hand. You're going to make a C, but with only the thumb and the index finger. Bring that in front of the eye, and with a very simple arc, go upwards and away from the body. Let me show you that from the side. That is how you sign moon. Now for the sign stars. We've all looked up at the sky and seen thousands, if not millions of them. So basically that makes the sign easier. You'll take both index finger and you're going to point towards the sky. That is how you sign stars. Now for the sign sun. Simply take your dominant hand. I take my fingers, bring them together, and then open them up in front of the face. That is how you sign sun. Now for the sign sunset and sunrise, they're very similar. Simply take your non-dominant hand, bring that in front of your body with the palm facing down. With your dominant hand, you're going to make an F. But make sure that the thumb and the index finger form like a circle. This becomes your classifier for the sun. So for sunset, you're going to actually bring it down and in front of the elbow. For sunrise, as you probably guessed, you bring that up towards the sky. So that is how you sign sunset and sunrise. Now for the sign cloud. I've seen that done a couple ways. I've seen people do this. But what I do, I simply pretend as if I'm squeezing a cloud gently. That is how I sign cloud. Now for the sign snow. Now we know snow when it comes down, especially when it's just beginning to snow, is pretty gentle. So what I do is I take both forehands, bring them down in like this kind of a motion. I've seen people do this. Either way is fine. That is how I sign snow. Now for rain, I've seen people do this. But usually when I'm signing rain, and I hope it's not wrong, I'll just go. That is how I sign rain. Now for the sign hail. We know hail is ice, and it doesn't necessarily have a specific pattern that it comes down. So what I do for hail, I'll fingerspell ice, and then I'll take both hands, make hooks, and then I'll bring them down in just different locations. I've seen people actually fingerspell ice, then do the sign for rain, and then take the hook hands. Either way, I just basically fingerspell my preference, and then I'll do the hooks in the different locations. That is how I sign hail. For the sign desert, simply take your dominant hand and you're first going to make the sign dry. So that index finger goes right up underneath, scrapes the chin, and goes away. And then you take both hands, bend them at the knuckles, and then you'll go forward. So let me show you that in real time. Just say your desert has hills. I've seen this also. Either way is fine. You know, I prefer as a very generic sign. So that is how I sign desert. Now for the sign forest, I've seen it done a couple ways. I've seen this. They'll take their non-dominant hand, place that in front of the body. You can either make a fist or leave it extended. Then they'll take their dominant hand, and this becomes the classifier for tree. And then they'll just bring it around like. But if you have a heavily dense forest, so dense you can't see, I've seen this. Because it's so dense, full of trees and shrubs, you can't really see through it. So you're going back and forth and closing in like a heavily dense forest. So that is how I sign forest. Now let's do signs dealing with acts of nature like earthquakes and floods. So for the sign earthquake, I simply take my non-dominant hand, make a fist with it, an S. Then I'll take my dominant hand with my middle finger and my thumb. It squeezes the fist. This becomes the earth. I squeeze it. Let me show you. Just like that. And then I'll take the hands apart, make S's, and they will rock back and forth. So let me show you that in real time. That is how I sign earthquake. Now for the sign flood. Simply do the sign for water, and then you'll take both hands and you'll begin to raise them up as if the water is beginning to get higher and higher. I've seen people do this also. Either way. That is how I sign flood. Now for the sign hurricane. I simply take both hands, I make H's, but extend the thumbs out. Now the dominant hand, the palm faces outward with the dominant hand, but with the non-dominant hand, the palm faces me. And then the tips of the thumb touch, and both the index finger and the thumb begin to flick back and forth. I've seen this also. That is how I sign hurricane. Now for the sign tornado. I've seen people do this. But I've also seen this. They'll take the index of the non-dominant hand, and then they'll take the index of the dominant hand, and they'll make circular motions going downward. So I've seen either way. That is how I sign tornado. Now, these are very basic weather signs. I hope you've learned something from it. If you did, please do me a favor, hit that like button. Next, hit the subscribe button. And last but not least, hit that notification button and stay tuned for my next ASL video.